I gotta script stuff because I want this to look good. Hold up. I do want to say I am sorry for the time between my last video and this one. I owe you an apology, and I do want to explain the apology and explain what's been going on. First off, it'll never happen again. My situation was very unique, and it should never ever happen again where I take that much time between videos. So, I actually got a new studio room, and I had to get that set up. Long story short, we had a roommate, we were having a lot of problems. Me and a couple of my other roommates talked about it, and we decided it was best if he just left. So, I had to wait for him to leave, and then after he left, we had to get the room cleaned out, and then now I set it up as my YouTube. It's probably going to be playing as I'm talking. So, that's one reason why this took so long. Another thing that was going on, and if you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, or Instagram, link will be in the description below, by the way, I got a new dog. And I'm pretty sure any responsible pet owner knows you have to take some time from what you're doing to get your animal adjusted to your schedule, your living situation, your schedule, everything about your life. And I feel that since I've had the dog, I've been able to successfully adjust him to my life. And now I can get back to the YouTube train. Lastly, everyone has family stuff. I have a lot of family stuff going on right now. I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but yes, I do not operate well in the month of September. Maybe one day we'll talk about it. But anyway, just long story short, that's my situation. I do sincerely apologize again. I know there's a couple people who are super stoked for this upcoming episode, and I feel like I've let you guys down, and I know I may not be huge, but there's so many of you that have subscribed to my channel. There's so many of you that hit a button that's like, this guy's good enough. This dude, I want to follow this dude, and I appreciate that. You know, whether you're a family member or you're an actual just random person that found me on YouTube. And I owe it to you to kind of keep up with the schedule. But anyway, like I said, no, I'm back. Gonna be back forever. And I never plan on going away. Just, I wanted to apologize and kind of elaborate on my situation. What's up, YouTube? My name is Jacob, and this is the Awesomesauce, the only show where we're trying to judge a movie till it comes out in theaters. Except Batman vs. Superman. I hyped that shit up so bad, and it wasn't a complete letdown. Still, fucking Warner Brothers, man. Anyway, today, pretty sure you can tell by the title of the video, we're talking about the Suicide Squad. I was super pumped about it when I saw the trailers from the Comic-Con releases and stuff. I was super pumped about it. When it came out, I saw the opening night, and that movie was great, personally. Before we start talking about the movie, let's talk about the squad itself. Suicide Squad made its first appearance in 1959 in Brave and the Bold issue number 25. At that time, when Suicide Squad was first introduced, it was a volunteer program. It wasn't how we know Suicide Squad today. Plus, even the main characters that we know today in our Suicide Squad were nothing in that Suicide Squad. So, as time goes on, Suicide Squad was yet again reintroduced in 1985 under the name Task Force X. So if you hear that name tossed around a little bit, that's why. Because that's the Suicide Squad we are beginning to know. That's when key characters like Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and other main characters that we know today were introduced into the universe of Suicide Squad, except Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn didn't become a main character of Suicide Squad until the New 52 lineup came out, which was, I'm not sure exactly when that was, but let's kind of think logically here. Harley Quinn wasn't introduced to DC Universe until the 90s, and she didn't get her own comic book till like mid to late 90s, so around some time after that, that's when Harley Quinn became one of the main members of Suicide Squad. Fun fact, Deadshot's actually white in most of the comic and movie variations of Suicide Squad. There's a couple where he's actually black, which I have no problem with it personally. But I digress. Anybody who's upset about these characters being portrayed by opposite races, just get the fuck out of yourself. Sorry. So, before we start talking about what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie, I want to start off by saying this. I am a comic book fan. I have a lot of comic book knowledge. As a comic book fan, when I go see a comic book movie like Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, or Civil War, or anything of that nature, I don't expect a lot of truth to source material. And let's talk about why for a second. Sometimes source material doesn't sell good movies. There's an arithmetic to selling good movies, and there's an arithmetic to selling comic books. They are on different fucking levels. Anyway, back to Suicide Squad. What I really liked about the movie is, for the squad itself, there was a lot of good chemistry. There was a lot of good teamwork aspect that they seem to have worked on off camera. They captured a lot of the good qualities of the squad itself from the comic book, more or less, their personality wise and how they clash. Another thing that I really liked about this movie was Harley Quinn's portrayal. I think Margot Robbie captured it flawlessly. Granted, you can blame this on writing, this on that, but as a character itself, I feel like she really portrayed Harley Quinn amazing. All we really have to go off of though is Batman the Animated Series. And I think with that being the only thing we have, it was still flawless. It was still amazing. She even had that kind of Tara Strong voice at it sometimes. Like, sometimes she would have a blank stare or just have this poppy attitude about a situation that is exactly how I think we all picture Harley Quinn. Now, no, is she, I mean, perfect? No, but what is perfect? This is where being critical comes into it. I think it was good for what counts, but it's not perfect. Another thing that I really liked is they gave good backstory to key characters. And what I mean by that is these characters that are going to exist further on down the road in DC's extended universe. Harley Quinn got decent backstory, Deadshot got decent backstory, key characters in the movie that are probably going to exist further on down the road in DC got decent story. And that's what I mean, because then whatever they do next, they can just jump into it instead of having to add origin to the whole situation. The movie itself was extremely entertaining. It held my attention the entire way through, between the quiet parts, the actiony parts, the jokes, interactions with each other. It was a really good movie, and what really made it amazing for me itself was all the comic book references. They had, I'm sure everyone caught it, but the reference to Batman Harley Quinn comic, that was the exact cover. The fact that they gave the Flash a cameo in it just kind of ties it together. The fact that Batman had his cameo in it really tied it together. Now, we're going to talk about the Joker. This is going to conclude what I liked about the movie and start to fade into what I didn't like about the movie. Only because the Joker played a key role in both of those situations. Now, this is all just my opinion, so please take it easy. I think that for a new interpretation of the Joker, this was decently done. We have a lot of high expectations with Heath Ledger's Joker, with the Dark Knight Joker. I think that for a new universe, a new interpretation of the Joker, stepping away from Heath Ledger's Joker, stepping away from the Dark Knight bullshit, coming to this existing Joker, I think the interpretation was decent, and it I don't want to say it lived up to it, but it wasn't a letdown from Heath Ledger's Joker, and that's just my opinion. I don't want to say he's better, but it's not a letdown, and I think that's what matters when you introduce a super popular character like the Joker into a film series, into a new universe. Now, we all know with the Joker, Batman's included in everything. If the Joker's name is dropped, Batman's name is dropped. That is how DC works. That is how Batman's universe works. And that's a good thing because, like I said before, Batman is tied into this now. Batman is tied into Suicide Squad. Batman's tied into everything around this. And that's amazing. Because honestly, you can't have characters from Batman's universe and not have Batman. I think, to me, that's not right at all. It wouldn't make sense. Now, with Joker not really being a main member of Suicide Squad, I really think his in and out constant in the movie was really good. I really do think that for him not being a main part of Suicide Squad, a little bit of him here, a little bit of him here, a little bit of him here would make sense. even in the comic books, Joker would sometimes be in and out, kind of a character, kind of not a character, you know what I mean? He would exist but not exist. Now I know I've kind of given the Joker a lot of good stuff. I'm not saying it's a good, amazing Joker. It was good acting, but at the same time, there wasn't enough to make a solid opinion. He was in and out, 5 minutes, boom, 5 minute scene here, 5 minute scene here, you know what I mean? And this is where I start getting bad about the movie. Now, like I said, it was good acting, but I don't want to say it was an amazing Joker, or even a good Joker. I'm not trying to put down Jared Leto's performance, I'm not trying to talk bad about anything, but there just wasn't enough to really go off of, like we have with previous Jokers. With past Jokers, we've been given a lot to go off of because they've been the main villain in the movie. Jack Nicholson's Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm so sorry, but the guy who played the Adam West Joker, those were good because we got a lot of characteral attributes from them. With this one, we got nothing, and it's really hard to make a judgment off of, once again, 6 or 7 5-minute appearances in and out of the movie. I think that's the truth about it. Trying to judge the Joker at this current moment. So now to kind of get into what I didn't like about the movie, and once I get, like I said, once again, the Joker kind of is the transition from good to bad. I didn't like a lot about the Joker too. The main thing was he just seemed too much like a mobster. They tried to take like the Jack Nicholson mobster-esque Joker and almost like amped it up by 1,000. It didn't seem right. It didn't really seem fitting, seeing as how the Joker that we are used to in the comic book universe is a psychopath. Once again, referring to Heath Ledger, I think that was a really good interpretation of Joker, of our age Joker, the Bronze Age Joker. It wasn't a bad Joker. There was a lot of good attributes to it, but one of the main things that irritated me about the Joker was he just came off too mobsterish, too gangsterish. The whole scene with the club, that's a comic book reference in a weird way. It was a little bit of a comic book reference, but at the same time, they made him, like I said, a king mobster. He owned a club. He owns a freaking Ferrari. To me, that's not the Joker that we have in the comic books. The look of the Joker itself, too, was a little bit disconcerting. Now, if you keep up with the geeky news, like I'm pretty sure a lot of us do, they explain the damage tattoo, they explain the grill, but still, his appearance itself was, I want to say, a little off-putting. And once again, this goes back to the whole thing I said earlier about, enjoying a comic book character in a movie and a comic book. I mean, there's a certain point where you're pushing it too far. I don't want to say they pushed it too far, but they might have pushed it too far. So overall, the appearance was, like I said, it wasn't a turn off, but it just still didn't make sense to me. Maybe they'll elaborate better in the future, but at the moment, it's not an interpretation of the Joker that I'm okay with. Fuck me, right? I'm a Marvel fan anyway. Another thing that really bothered me was like the interaction between Joker and Harley Quinn. Now with the Joker and Harley Quinn, it's just kind of weird. You don't really truly know why the Joker did some of the stuff he did for Harley, like break her out of prison or even jump in after her when she got pushed in the vat or found that vat of chemicals. Like their relationship seemed off. Harley Quinn's part was great. She really captured the obsession with Joker, I guess. But Joker's part, his intentions with Harley, the whole movie, he's trying to save her. It just doesn't make sense to me. But of course, there's not a lot to go off. There's not a lot to go off of either. Once again, this could all be for some crazy abusive plan later on down the road. This one's for the studio. Pretty sure by now we've all heard all this extra footage with the Joker that was cut out of the movie, all this extra blah 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 blah. Warner Brothers need to cut that shit out. They did the same thing with Batman vs Superman. The movie seemed like it didn't make any sense, So you buy the Blu-ray, which had the 30 minutes of extra stuff that made it rated R, and then it all made sense. Like, why? Just stop. Really? We're all gonna buy the DVD, we're all gonna buy the Blu-ray no matter what. Stop trying to sell it the moment the movie hits theaters, because that's how you're gonna tarnish your name and get behind Marvel. Now we're gonna get off the joke for a bit and focus on something else that bothered me. The movie seemed to focus on Deadshot more, which I think was a casting mistake more than it was an actual mistake in the movie itself. First off, Deadshot's the type of person that is not really vocal like Will Smith was. He's not very, smart-assy, I'm gonna joke around like Will Smith was. Deadshot's a very serious, quiet or monotone character. And once again, that's where the casting issue comes in, because Will Smith, a big name in movies, played him. They had to give him FaceTime, they had to make him the center, and everybody's the background. It's kind of bad just because Deadshot's not really like the main. The whole comic book thing, it's a movie thing. You have to stay true to source material some ways, and I think this would be a bad call. Will Smith is main, and Harley Quinn's like, oh yeah, I'm here, and then everyone else is just background. That, ladies and gentlemen, is ultimately my review of Suicide Squad. I honestly think it was an amazing movie. The bad things that I talked about kind of had to nitpick. I've said this before. I'm a Marvel guy. I don't know. I'm not big on DC, but I know enough about DC where I can have this conversation. Like I said, I try and leave the comic book fan at home when I go see a comic book movie. And I think that's what people need to start doing, because being critical like this is going to destroy our chance of having good comic book movies at some point, and that's not a good thing. The good things I really loved, the bad things, once again, I had to nitpick. Ultimately, I think the movie was good. I do recommend it. I want to go see it again and then buy the Blu-ray. The whole thing with trying to sell the Blu-ray already, that's my only problem. But that's not even the movie. That's not the director. That's Warner Brothers. Look at what they did with Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds would have been perfect for Green Lantern, but because Warner Brothers decided to stick their fucking hand in the cookie jar, fuck shit up, the movie was a bust. I mean, let's face it. Other than Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds is a perfect Hal Jordan. Young, he's fucking sexy. Ryan, please. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for clicking on my video today. Thanks for being here with me. Once again, I do sincerely apologize for the time between the videos. My bad. I promise I'll try my best so it doesn't happen again. On the off chance it does though, I'm always on Twitter, I'm always on Instagram, and I'm always Snapchatting. Links will be in the description below. Make sure you follow. Hit me up. Be like, hey man, are you dead? I'll be like, nah, sorry. Make sure you hit subscribe, share it with your friends, let them know the Awesome Sauce is here to party. And as always, YouTube, you know what you should do though? Fact check me. Go down to your local comic book store right now, or in the morning, or whenever you're out of school, or whatever you're doing. Go down to your comic book store, ask them, hey, you got anything on Suicide Squad? They're probably going to point a whole wall of Suicide Squad stuff because it's important. They're going to point the wall out to you, you're going to go to the wall, look through the comics. Finally, one of the people is going to come up to you and say, hey, do you need help, sir? And you're going to be like, yes, I saw this YouTuber and I have questions. And the guy's going to be like, hey, I have answers. If you're native to New Mexico like I am, drop by Lobo Comic Book Shop. Those guys are absolutely amazing. They have excessive knowledge on comic books, they know everything, and they'll do anything to help you. Plus, it's a geek's paradise. Walk in there, they got the cool toys, they got walls of comics, they got the cool stuff. Check it out. Really good people. Tell them the Awesomesauce sent you. They'll probably be like, who the hell's that? But still. Support local business, people. Here's a crisp one.
Try some Awesomesauce.
Do you want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. One day he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy grabs the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. Looks at me, the kitchen knife in his hand. Why so serious? Comes at me with the knife. Why so serious? Puts the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. And some freaky shit, right? I know. Bring it in. I'm sorry. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Thank you.